Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Rollovers are great, but if you don't know what you're doing, it can kind of be a little bit stressful. So today, we talk about HSA rollovers, how to do it, and what to know. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. A credit union that offers Bitcoin? Give me 5. For a limited time only, get $5 of free Bitcoin through the Southland Credit Union app. Enrollment is quick and easy. There's no hidden fees, and you can conveniently fund Bitcoin purchases directly from a Southland account. Claim your free Bitcoin today by going to thecollegeinvestor.com/Southland. Bitcoin accounts and services provided by NYDIG. Not NCUA insured. Restrictions apply to Bitcoin bonus. See terms. And don't forget to check out thecollegeinvestor.com/Southland to sign up. HSAs, or health savings accounts, are a great tax benefit for people with eligible high-deductible health plans. But as you go from job to job, you can end up with HSAs littered across several different HSA providers or even administrators. And at some point, you might want to go ahead and do an HSA rollover. So there is a way to clean up all of these accounts and consolidate them into one account. However, there are rules you do need to know, and you need to understand how the taxes may be handled. By the way, real quick, if you're looking for a place to roll over your HSA, you can check out our list of the best HSA providers at thecollegeinvestor.com. All right, first up, let's talk about transferring your HSA. When you have multiple HSAs, paying for medical expenses can become a little bit cumbersome. At some point, you end up with not enough money in one account, and then have to use another one just to pay for one bill. There's a better solution. Consolidate all of your accounts into one. This allows you to then use just one debit card to pay for medical expenses. That sounds great. Consolidating can also cut down on administration fees too. So to move money from one HSA to another, you can do a transfer. This is a direct custodian-to-custodian movement of funds, also called trustee-to-trustee. With an HSA transfer, you don't ever come in contact with the funds while they are being transferred. That's important, since taking possession of funds can invalidate the process and trigger tax consequences. Not good. To complete an HSA transfer, you must be the owner of all of the HSA accounts. Call up your HSA administrator of the account you want to transfer and ask how to get started. Once the transfer starts, all you have to do is hurry up and wait for it to complete. So once all of this is done, you probably are going to need to call the HSA administrator again that you transferred funds from and ask them to go ahead and close the account. An HSA transfer can be done as many times as you like. There's really no limit. These transfers will also not impact your annual contributions or income. Additionally, there's no tax reporting involved with an HSA transfer. So for example, if you want to use Lively HSA as your new HSA provider, you can do this whole process at Lively and never have to speak to your old company, except if you want to close the account. Just a quick note here. It can actually take up to 2 to 6 weeks to transfer and process a transfer. So it's been our experience that pretty much every old school HSA provider is terrible about the process in terms of ease of use and timing. Just keep that in mind. Let's talk about in-kind investment transfer. So with this type of transfer, you're actually transferring investment holdings like stocks, bonds, mutual funds to another HSA account. The positions are transferred with their cost basis retained in most cases. This keeps you from having to liquidate positions just for a transfer. However, not all HSA administrators allow this. In that case, you will need to liquidate your holdings. Arg! Liquidations may trigger tax consequences in some states. You'll want to work with your HSA administrator and tax advisor before initiating this type of transfer. And another note here, some administrators, especially at larger companies, offer very special or specific funds that aren't offered elsewhere. These will never likely transfer in kind. Now let's talk about the HSA rollover itself. An HSA rollover is different from a transfer. The most important difference is that you can only do one HSA rollover per year. Keep that in mind. With an HSA rollover, your provider sends you a check, which must then deposit into your HSA account. You have 60 days from withdrawal to deposit to complete the process. Otherwise, you'll be taxed on the withdrawn amount and also hit with a 20% penalty. After those 60 days are up, the withdrawn amount is considered a distribution, which is why it's taxed. Rollovers don't count against your annual contribution. However, they must be reported on your tax return. A rollover is a little bit riskier than a simple transfer since it's less automated and has a higher cost if you don't follow the instructions. You'll have to wait 12 months from the date of the last rollover before you can initiate another one. IRA to HSA rollover. Okay, so there's another type of HSA rollover that involves retirement accounts. You can roll over funds from your traditional IRA or Roth into your HSA account. And this can only be done once in a person's lifetime. One time in your whole life. An IRA to HSA rollover will impact your contributions too. Your annual contribution limit for your HSA will be reduced by the amount of the IRA to HSA rollover. Funds in an IRA are tax deferred. Once they're rolled into an HSA, they become tax-free. A SEP and simple IRA can also utilize this strategy as long as the IRA is no longer considered ongoing by the IRS. If you're going this route, you'll certainly want to work with your HSA administrator. Instead of doing an IRA to HSA rollover, you might want to consider just contributing to your HSA. The contributions have tax benefits and you don't reduce your retirement account, which is money you never get back. Here are some tax consequences of an HSA rollover. For 48 states, there are no consequences for an HSA rollover. There are currently 2 states, California and New Jersey, that don't conform to federal law when it comes to HSAs. Always got to be different, guys. There are currently bills in progress, though, but as of now, an HSA is basically treated like a taxable brokerage account in these 2 states. California, New Jersey, let's get with the times here. So, for example, you don't get to deduct your HSA contribution for state income tax purposes, and you should be reporting your capital gains and dividends on your state income tax return as well. When it comes to rollovers, a transfer of custodians is not a taxable event, although your underlying HSA may have its normal taxable events. However, a rollover that you're required to report is a taxable event, and you will pay taxes on any gains as part of the rollover. As such, California and New Jersey residents are encouraged to only do an HSA transfer, not a rollover. And here's a quick conclusion to wrap things up for today. Getting money into an HSA account can be done in a few ways. New money, up to the HSA contribution limits, transfer funds, a rollover, an IRA to HSA rollover. Each method is going to be used for a specific reason, and some do come with restrictions. The simplest ways to get money into an HSA are direct contributions and transfers. Rollovers are a little bit more involved, and rules must be carefully followed to avoid taxes and penalties. It's highly recommended you speak to a tax professional about your rollover and ensure that you report it correctly on your tax return. And that is our show for today. I hope it was helpful to you. If you did find it helpful, please leave a comment on this podcast wherever you downloaded it from, and also share it with a friend or family member. We'd greatly appreciate that. Follow us on social media. We're everywhere. Just search for The College Investor. We'd love to get to know you better, too. And check out thecollegeinvestor.com to dive in a little bit deeper on HSAs and our awesome list of the best providers you can find. Thanks again for stopping by today, and we'll talk to you again real soon.